Good morning, everyone. I'll wait and see who gets on. Looks like we've got one person watching so far. Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a good morning. I am for sure. I know it's been nice sleeping in, but I don't know. There's something weird about being home and missing all of you guys. So, Hi, Miss Haskett. I'm excited to be able to be on here and share with you guys a little bit, because I feel like I don't have anybody to talk to. But anyway, hello, Cass and Eliza. So what's fun about this morning is that while Miss Hargis has been, well, first let me say, I'm Miss Hargis. I teach 5th grade, if you don't know who I am. Hi, Carly. Hi, Miss Sadler. If you don't know who I am, I teach 5th grade. Some of you have been to my classroom. It's the one upstairs with the upstairs in it. So, anyway, that's me. And I was going to say that the fun thing about this morning is that I have been at home just, hi, Charlotte and Sylvie. I've been able to kind of experiment myself. So this morning's activity is STEM, or some science experiments that I've been working on in my house. So, hi guys. Hey, Miss Hall. Hi, Alec. I'm glad you guys are jumping on. You'll have to bear with me. I am not, I've never done a live before, so hopefully this goes great. But hi, Rory and August. Anyway, so I just thought I would get together a few things that you guys could be doing at home while you are stuck in the house. And what I tried to do was pick out things that, hi, Miss Clay, that actually you already had in your house, because I personally did not want to go out and buy things for this, just because I was like, why not try to make something fun out of the stuff I already have? So I'm going to kind of move the camera around just a little bit so you can see my work area. And I have 3 different experiments for us to try this morning. So this will be good for you to go back and watch it later and try it on your own, or maybe even see what you can come up with by yourself. Maybe you add to what I've shown you, any of that. So, hi, Miss Young. All right, so I'm moving you guys around. Bear with me. All right, can you guys see me okay? All right, so the first experiment I have, the materials you'll need are a dish or a plate or a bowl. You'll need dish soap, and you'll need pepper. Which I'm pretty sure all of you guys have in your house. I bet you could go to the kitchen and look for it right now if I'm not mistaken. So this is called repelling pepper. And so I actually saw this on Facebook, and I saw it as somebody showing you guys how soap works with germs. So, oh, and we'll also need some water, by the way. So I've got roughly 2 cups of water here. It doesn't, the measure of water doesn't really matter. So, so what you're going to do first is you're going to pour the water into your dish. So I'd probably use a bowl or a flat dish like I'm using, because otherwise if you use a plate, you're probably going to get water everywhere, unless you use just a little bit of water. So I just got about 2 cups of water here. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to pour the pepper into the water just like this. And it doesn't really matter even how much either. And let me show you guys what I'm doing. It's kind of hard for you guys to see. Sorry, guys. Okay, so as you can see, I've got pepper in the water, and it's floating on the top, and that's because of the surface tension that the water has. Water doesn't normally like to let things into it that doesn't mix with it. So you just pour the pepper on as much as you want. Probably don't want to cover it fully, but what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to stick my finger in and see how much pepper sticks to my finger. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see that, but that's quite a bit of pepper. So that's what I like to call the germs, okay? The pepper is the germs. And I've got pepper all over my finger now, which means I got germs. And if I put my whole hand in here, I bet I'd have pepper all over it. So what I want you guys to see, though, is what soap is going to do to this. And some of you may have seen this experiment already. But I don't even have to do much. I can just do a little drop here. And so I'm just going to put like a tiny little, I wiped my finger off, by the way. I'm going to do a tiny little drop. That's not really tiny. And I don't even really have to rub it in. But watch what happens now when I touch the water. Whoa. I barely even touched the water with my soap. And the pepper repelled. So now the reason it does this is that surface tension that I talked about before. The water doesn't want to let that pepper have any of its surface tension. It says, I want to keep it all. So when the soap tries to take up some of that, the water spreads the pepper out because the pepper actually doesn't dissolve in the water. It's indissoluble, or it doesn't mix with water well. So all that surface tension that was taken up by the water at first, with just the pepper sitting on top, didn't like when I put the soap in. So, can you see how your germs can go away with just a little drop of soap? Pretty cool, right? Okay, so that's experiment number 1. And bear with me, because I am having to transition a little bit. Now, awesome, Mabry. I'm glad you loved it. That's awesome. I'm glad I'm teaching you guys something new. Now, I know some of you guys have seen that, but how many of you knew that it was from surface tension? Pretty cool. You'll have to go look it up for yourself. Okay, so the next experiment I have is oil and water. Now, some of you may have heard, but oil and water don't like each other. I don't know if you guys have heard that. Well, I've got some new supplies here. I've actually also included myself some paint in the experiment. So I've got regular cooking oil, so just some vegetable oil. You can use sunflower oil, you can use canola oil, you can use olive oil. I'm pretty sure it all works. So as long as you have some sort of oil. Okay, I've also got a jar that I'm going to make my mixture in. I've got a jar that I'm going to mix my oil and paint. And then I've got my water here. And then I also have some toothpicks just in case I want to mix that water. The oil and the paint. So what's cool about this is that I like to call it fireworks in water, or I guess fireworks in a jar, because what's cool is that whenever you mix the oil and the paint, they actually don't fully mix, so the oil doesn't turn a color, but you actually see tiny little beads of paint in it. But what's the cool part is watching it when it mixes with water, or when it touches water. So that's what we're gonna do this time. Hi everybody, I'm glad you're on. Okay, so I'm gonna take about a cup of water. So I'm just gonna pour it in. All right, and I'm sorry I can't lift the camera very well just because I've got both my hands. But I put 1 cup of water in here, and you can put more. My jar is a little bit bigger, so I might put a little bit more, but it doesn't really matter. Either way is fine. I might put 2 cups just because I didn't really plan on my jar being this big. So I've got 2 cups of water there. All right, and what I'm gonna do next is I'm going to measure out a 1/2 cup of oil in my separate jar. I hope some of you guys are going to do this after I show this video. All right, so I've got 1/2 cup of oil here, and I put it in my new jar. All All right, and make sure you don't make a mess in your mom's kitchen, okay? I'm sure they wouldn't appreciate that. All right, so, hi Jackson and Jody. All right, so I've got my oil. Now, it doesn't really, with the paint, and I have acrylic paint, so what I might do also is put some water in it just because that acrylic paint sometimes is pretty thick, and I literally just put a little bit of drops, like just a tiny bit of water. Okay, and I've got some blue paint here, matches my shirt, 5th grade shirt. All right, and I'm literally just gonna put a couple drops. I don't need very much, okay? And I'm going to use a toothpick and mix it up. And you don't have to, if you have regular paint, like washable paint, you don't have to mix it with water. You can if you want and see how it turns out. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually see how both the liquid and just regular paint mixes with the oil. So I don't know if you, hold on, let me see if I can. So I'm going to try one or two small little drops in the oil. Hopefully you can see it. So I'm barely squeezing and there's going to be like a small little drop that comes out, hopefully. All right, so you can see that it kind of went into the bottom of the jar right there. I'm going to also use some pink paint. I'm thinking that my liquid actually may be too liquid. So see how like milky it is? Yeah, you probably don't want that. So I'm just going to try it with regular paint and see how it works. And if it doesn't work out, you guys can try it at home. All right, so I'm going to drop just a tiny little bit. I've learned that if you drop too much in at one time, it like doesn't work very well. So, all right, so I've got 2 drops of pink now and 1 drop of blue. And I'm going to mix that in. I'm actually going to get something longer. I'm just going to use a straw. So I'm just going to mix the paint in with the oil, and hopefully it mixes. But because it's acrylic paint, it may not mix very well, and what I'm seeing is that it isn't, but it'll do. So if you've got washable paint, I bet it would work better. But we're just going to, it did make tiny little beads. I hope you can see that. You see all the tiny little bubbles of paint in there? All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in my water. Let me move this out of the way. I know my face is cut off half the time, but it's kind of hard to get the right angle. So, hi, Mr. Jones. Hi, Miss Peterson. All right, so you guys ready? So what I want you to observe is we know that oil and water don't like each other, and the reason for that is because oil is lighter than water, and so it has buoyancy. It has a less density, so it will float on top. But watch what the paint does. Ready? All right, so you see how all the oil went to the top? It's floating on top. Let me see if I can lift this up. Let me see if I can flip the camera. Okay, you see the oil is floating on top, and if you give it a minute, you should start to see some paint come through. Now I've got some bubbles in there, so that may affect it, but I can see that I've got some paint on the top, and that might be because the acrylic paint is actually lighter than the oil. But what I'm seeing is that it's actually trapped in between the oil and the water. Interesting. Oh, there it goes. Look at it. So it just took it a second to fall through the oil. All right, so look, it's kind of like fireworks or like rain. So hopefully you guys can see it, but you see the blue starting to come through. And actually my blue paint it has glitter in it. So it's kind of like rainbow or unicorn rain. Yeah, Miss Hall, I actually hadn't either, and I just happened upon a video of somebody that did this, and I was like, that is so cool. So the oil and water, they don't like each other, right? Because of their different densities. the molecules in water and in oil really like to stick together, those two materials. So yeah, Miss Sadler, it actually online was called like a homemade lava lamp. So if you do make a homemade lava lamp, there's also like waves in a jar. You can actually also make some different waves. And you see like the oil still doesn't mix, and it creates a cool different effect. So because oil is less dense than water, it floats. So hope you guys like that one. I've got one more really quick one for you guys. I really hope you guys try this at home because I had a lot of fun coming up with these, and Mr. Hargis was like, what are you doing? But he thought it was pretty cool too. So I'll leave my oil and water over here with my paint. Kind of wiping off the counter, I got water everywhere. All right, so my last one is pretty easy, and it's really simple. Let me move some of this to the side. All right, so. Thanks, Hatcher. I don't know if I should have my own YouTube channel. This seems kind of silly, but hopefully you guys are enjoying it. All right, so the next experiment is just called Flip the Arrow. Now you can choose another picture. You can make your own picture. You can do whatever you want. All right, so for this experiment, I have a piece of paper, a cup. Now, let me just add a disclaimer here. Some of this stuff I had to try a few different things for it to work, but we'll see if this one works. So I've also got a Sharpie. So just these three things and then some water. The cup will have water in it, okay? Now, because I feel like a YouTuber, Hatcher. Hi, Miss Smith. All right, so because I'm a, professional here, I already had an arrow drawn, but you can go ahead and draw yours. So I've just filled my cup up with water. Now, I tried this with the jar that I used for the oil and water, and it didn't work. I'm not sure why. Maybe the glass was off. Maybe it wasn't a glass. Maybe it was more of like, I don't know, a different material, because it didn't actually work. So I tried a few different things. I tried it on my glass measuring cup, and it didn't work there either. I'm not really sure why. But see, all I've got here is a glass of water. Hi, Jessica and Ava. All right, so draw an arrow on your paper. I've already done mine. Okay. Now, to you, it's pointing to the, well, which way is it pointing for you? Left or right? Because to me, it's pointing right. Would it be left? I don't know. Either way, it's pointing this way. So I folded my paper in half as well so that it can stand up on its own, okay? Now you see that it is, and I'm trying to get closer so you can see, you see that it is this way, right? It is pointing this way. My arrow is not that great, so I'm sure you could draw a better one. Okay, it's pointing to the right. Okay, good. So when I move it behind this water, let's see what happens. Hi, Sheriff. Hope you're having a good break, buddy. All right, watch. Whoa. Now which way is it pointing? It's pointing to the other way. Wait, but look. Why does it do that? Does anybody know? It's magic, right? Okay, so the reason it does this, so I can lift it up too. See it at the top of the cup? Put it down, put it up, put it down, put it up. I know, Miss Hall. I was super impressed too. I was like, what? So the reason it does this is called refraction. Ah, yes. Go, Miss Holly. Oh, that's Sheriff's Mom. Hi. Yes. It is refraction. Yes. Good. Good. I'm glad you guys know this. Look, I'm old news. Okay. So, yes, it's refraction. So the time that it takes the light to go through the glass on this side, and then through the water, and then through the other side of the glass, and then to the paper, it actually bends towards the middle of the cup. Oh, it's still actually share. Okay. Good to know, buddy. So, yes, it's refraction. Hi, Skylar. So, yes, the light is actually bending towards the middle. Fun stuff, right? Now, you can choose any picture you want, and you could, I'm sure, like with my dishwasher liquid, I may be able to figure it out. Oh, look. Nope, it doesn't do it. So, I wonder why it doesn't do it with words and things like that. Maybe you guys can figure that out. I may have done a little research on my own, but I'd love for you guys to do some research and tell me why it doesn't do it with a bottle like that, or with maybe some words, but it does it with this. All right, cool. So, that being said and done, I'll put you guys back up here so I don't have to bend over. I hope you guys had a fun morning. It's been interesting over here in the Hargis house. So, I'm glad you guys came to learn with me. It was really fun. Hi, Justin. All right. So, I hope you guys try some of this stuff at home. This was super fun to me. And also, one thing that you can do with the oil and water is that you can add food coloring. That's normally what you can do with a lava lamp, like the at-home lava lamp. If you mix the food coloring with the oil first or with the water, I can't remember. You'll have to research it. But you can actually put it in a bottle, and I've seen people do the waves and the lava lamps with the food coloring, the oil, and the... You're welcome, guys. So you can actually do it that way. So I'd love to see some of your guys' experiments, and I hope you guys come up with some cool stuff at home. I've gone online and seen a bunch of stuff about people doing stuff with ice and water and salt. I've seen people do catapults. My kids are making catapults for socks. Hi, Yana. Good to see you. So, anyway, thank you for joining me in my kitchen. It's been a good Wednesday morning. So, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I will, where I found most of my experiments were on Pinterest. So, if you liked them, go find your own. Have a good day, guys.